Hey guys, this is Captain Forgo reporting for duty. And you know, I love music. If you know me or know my channel for a while, you know I have a big place in my heart for music. I've had a career in music, and music is such a vital part, I think, of everybody's life, and of course, mine. And music has always been a key component of video games. Now, I understand that today, in video games, it's part of leading to the emotion, the big stories, and maybe the stories, the narrative wasn't as big back in the day of the Nintendo. The Nintendo Entertainment System still had some absolutely epic music on some of those games. And even if the game didn't have a big plot, a big narrative, well, the music still helped push that game, where they give you eerie tones or ramp up the excitement of the game. And today I want to talk about 5 games from the NES with absolutely epic music that I would listen to today in the car even, and play it, or play it in the headset just to chill out to or rock to, because the game music is that good. Alright, so kick back, sit down, relax, grab a tea or something, whatever makes you happy, right? And go ahead and listen to my songs. Also, at the end of the video, if there's songs you think I missed or I should have mentioned, by all means, go ahead and let me know that in the comments too. The first game I want to talk about on this list is a game that's a bit controversial. Some people say it stinks, some people just think it's just hard. I tend to go on the side of it's just NES hard. When you learn how the moves and how everything works and just have to play over and over again and understand the mechanics, then the game gets good. And the composer for that game is Tim Fallon, on the game none other than The Silver Surfer. Yes, so Marvel fans, there you go, The Silver Surfer. Maybe not the best game, let's be honest there, but you have to admit, the soundtrack is really darn cool. It's just something different about it, which fits the character. By the way, if you like things like Silver Surfer's music and things, on a side note, check out Joe Satriani. He has a thing for the Silver Surfer too. Go ahead and look into it, you'll understand. But once again, some people complain about this game and believe that the music was much better than what the game deserved. But I tend to think of it's just one of those you have to learn and get good. The next game on this list is another one that takes me back to the good old classics days. And this is none other than Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Yes, there's also a Punch-Out! Version. Now this game does have several different people that composed the music, but I'm not even going to try to say their names because I'm not going to do them justice. I will butcher it like you would not believe. But we took good old Little Mac from the original arcade Punch-Out! And they manipulated it, changed the game a bit because it just wouldn't work for the NES, and gave us a fighter game, a brawler game, a good old classic boxing. And you know, when you deal with a boxing game, you have to have good music, right? I mean, think about Rocky. Without good music, would the game really been as good? Sure, it would have been great. But you know what? The music makes it even better. Granted, there's not a whole lot of tracks of music for this game, but what there is just perfect to build that action and make this game stand out as a classic today. This was a great game that kicked your butt, but yet sounded and played so good it made you keep coming back for more until you learned to get good and come back and beat Mike Tyson. The next game on this list happens to be one of my personal favorites. You know, this game started out as an arcade game. It's pretty much a run and gun kind of game, and it was ported to the NES. Now, oftentimes, an arcade game ported to the NES or another console system just really didn't measure up. Now, granted, the graphics might not have been as good, but one thing that Nintendo and Konami did is they sure did do a great job of ramping up the action, and that's none other than Contra. Contra, an absolutely epic game that anybody that was an NES player back in the day probably knows of or should have. I still have memories today of beating Contra, sitting there with my brother, working together and learning how to beat it without using the up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start code. Yes, the Konami code. Nearly all of Contra's music came from the arcade game, which was composed by Kazuki Muraoka. Once again, I do butcher names. His music was then ported to the NES by Hideromi Mazurawa, which I probably butchered, and the other guy's name I'm not even going to say. Please go look it up. I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just I am terrible at names. The Contra music may only be 8-bit chip tunes, but I tell you, it rocks hard. It's a great fast-paced musical score that fits a fast-paced, high-action game, and it fits it perfectly. I cannot imagine playing Contra with any other music than the music that was provided in the game. It just rocks. Alright, the next game on this list is another one that means a lot to me. It's another game that I really love playing. One of those where you practice and practice until you just get good. And you know, who doesn't like an action horror game where you can punch a wall and pull out some sweet, sweet, sweet wall meat? Yes, you know what I'm talking about. None other than Castlevania, the original. You know, the composer, she was absolutely amazing on this game. And I'm going to butcher her name, so I apologize. Kinoyu Yamashita is a Japanese video game music composer and sound producer, which her best known work is Konami's Castlevania, and it was absolutely awesome. The music today to this I could just listen to no matter where I'm at. I just really dig it. I think it was awesome, and it fits the game absolutely to a T, giving just the right elements of horror, action, suspense, and making you really want to dive in there and play that game no matter how many times it kicks your butt. Alright, now the next game is one I have to admit I never played a whole lot when I was young, and I was never really that big into the Mega Man series. Matter of fact, if you know this channel, you realize that just not too long ago, maybe a little over a year and a half ago, I finally beat the first Mega Man. And, you know, so I just dipped my toes, if you will, into Mega Man 2. Now, granted, I'm not saying I'm good at Mega Man 2. I haven't tried hard to master this game yet, so I don't have any nostalgia, but I will say one thing. The music really grabbed me. I'm going to butcher the name again. Takashi Tatishi? Whatever, he did an absolutely excellent job on the music of this game. So if anything makes me come back to this game and try it again and again, no matter how much I stink at it, it's going to be the great music. Another one, once again, that I could put in the car and play, listening to it on the headphones, just chill out. Matter of fact, I wouldn't mind learning how to play a few of those riffs on the guitar. I think it could have a really cool metal version of it as well. Well, there you guys have it. 5 particular Nintendo games that I think the music is absolutely excellent, and I could listen to them even outside the game. Is there some games that are on the NES that you think have absolutely awesome music too that you need to share in the comments section below, so that way we make sure we check it out and listen to it too? I know there's a lot of wonderful, awesome, amazing music on Nintendo games I didn't mention, but you know, if we mentioned every single one of them here, I would be here all day. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did, just sitting back and re-listening to a lot of these songs again. it just brings me back or hypes me up, depending on the situation. All right, well, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep it brutal.